I want to talk with you about something today that I wish someone had told me years ago. It's something that would have saved me so much heartache, so much wasted energy, so many sleepless nights wondering what was wrong with me. So here it is. You're not everyone's cup of tea. And learning to be okay with that, really deeply okay with it, is one of the most liberating things you'll ever do. Now, before you think I'm giving you permission to be difficult or stop caring about how you show up in the world, stay with me, because what I'm about to share is going to change everything for you. The world is filled with people who, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, they're simply not going to like you. They just won't. And you could twist yourself into a pretzel trying to win them over, and it still wouldn't work. But here's the beautiful part. The part that makes all of this not just okay, but actually perfect. The world is also filled with people who will love you fiercely. The ones who get you, the ones who see you and think, yes, this is my person. This is my person. Those people, they are your people. And I need you to hear this, really hear this. Don't waste your finite time and your beautiful heart trying to convince people who aren't your people that you have value, because they will miss it completely. They won't buy what you're selling. Not because there's something wrong with you, but because you're not meant for them and they are not meant for you. Okay? It's like trying to convince someone who hates coffee that coffee is amazing. All right? You could describe the aroma, the flavor, the ritual of it, the warmth of the cup on your hands on a cold morning, and they're still going to say, yeah, no thanks. That's not for me. And that doesn't make the coffee bad. Doesn't make them wrong. It just is what it is. So don't try to convince people to walk your path with you when they're not your people, because you will only waste your time and your emotional good health doing that. And your time and your emotional good health, those are precious. Those are finite. You don't get unlimited supplies of these things. You're not for them, they're not for you. You're not their cup of tea, they're not yours. So you politely wave them along and you move away as well. There's no drama in this, no story, just a gentle recognition that you're walking different paths. All right? So before we go any further, I want to say to you, in the description, there's a link to the happiness quiz. This happiness quiz is a game changer. It will help you see how happy you are. So I really encourage you to do it. It's a free quiz and it's wonderful. Go and do the happiness quiz. All right. Now, I think we have this massive misconception in our culture that you're supposed to go through life having everybody like you. That being liked is a good thing. Being disliked is a bad thing. And I get it. I really do. Because when we were kids, being liked meant safety. It meant inclusion. It meant you got picked for the team, invited to the birthday party, chosen as a friend. And if you were disliked, that meant loneliness. That meant exclusion. That meant sitting alone at lunch. But here's what I've learned, and this is where some real wisdom comes in. The thing about good and bad is that they're completely subjective. They're fabrications of our mind based on our previous experiences in life, based on how things went down in our families when we grow up, based on what happened to us, what we learned, what we decided things meant. So we're all in the same boat with this. Every single one of us is navigating life with our own unique set of experiences that are coloring everything we see. So we're all looking through our own filters. We're all creating our own stories about what things mean. What's good for me is not necessarily good for you. What's bad for me may not necessarily be bad for you at all. In fact, it might be exactly what you need. So think about it. I do not like Brussels sprouts. I really don't like Brussels sprouts, but that doesn't make Brussels sprouts a bad vegetable. Someone else loves them. Someone else thinks they're delicious, especially roasted with a little olive oil and salt. And I like carrots. But that doesn't mean that carrots are objectively better than Brussels sprouts. That's just my experience of these two vegetables. And it's the same with being a human being. It's the same with you. You're not objectively good or bad. You're just you. And some people will love that and some people won't. So here's what I want you to understand. The reason that people don't like you often doesn't have a whole lot to do with you at all. Now, of course, there are situations where we need to look at ourselves. If you're being manipulative, if you're being inappropriate, if you're being cruel, yes, that's something that you've got to examine. But being liked isn't the measure of whether you're a good person or whether you're in alignment with your values. In most cases, when someone doesn't like you, it's really about them. It's about their projections, their past experiences, their filters, their pain. Because here's what actually is happening. We're all walking, talking projectors, every single one of us. And the people and the experiences that we have are simply what we project onto the screen. What we see out there is actually a reflection of what's in here, what's within us. So when someone doesn't like you, you're often just the screen that they're projecting their own stuff onto. So you're triggering something in them that has nothing to do with who you actually are. Maybe you remind them of someone who hurt them. Maybe your confidence threatens their insecurity. Maybe your happiness highlights their sadness. Maybe your success makes them feel like they're not enough. That's not about you. That's about their inner world. That's about the stories they're telling themselves. And here's where it gets really interesting. When you truly understand this, when you really get that people's reactions to you are usually about them and not about you, it frees you. It frees you to stop taking everything so personally. It frees you to let people have their experience without making it mean something about your worth. But, and this is really important, while you can't control whether someone likes you or not, you can control the energy you bring into the world. You can control your intention. You can control how you show up. And this is where everything shifts. Because here's the truth, and I've seen this proven again and again and again. People are drawn to those who bring light into the world. All right? So we all know what it's like to be around someone who brings the energy down. You know this person. Maybe you have someone in your life right now who does this. They walk into a room and suddenly everything feels heavier. The air gets thicker. Maybe the conversations become more difficult. It's like they're carrying around a dark cloud and they're determined to park it right over everyone else. So they complain constantly. They see the problem in everything. They're cynical. They're negative. They're closed off. They're suffering. And they want everyone else to suffer with them. And when you're around them, you can feel your own energy draining away. You start to feel tired. You start to feel heavy. You want to leave. And then we all know what it's like to be around someone who lifts the energy up, someone who brings light, someone whose presence makes you feel more alive, more hopeful, more possible, someone who sees the good in things while acknowledging what's difficult, someone who's genuinely curious about the world and about you, someone who makes you laugh, who encourages you, who helps you see things from a different perspective. They don't have to be all those things, but when there's some of them, when you're with this person, you feel energized. You feel like the best version of yourself. You feel seen. You want to be around them more. So here's the question, and I really want you to sit with this. Which person are you? So if you go into the world miserable, if you're constantly negative, if you're bringing everyone down with your complaints, even a little bit, and your cynicism and your closed heart, people aren't going to like you. Not because there's something inherently wrong with you, but because you're making their experience of life harder. So you're adding weight to their already heavy load. But if you go into the world as a light, if you bring positivity and joy and genuine curiosity, if you approach life with an open heart, even when things are hard, people will be drawn to you. They'll want to be around you. They'll feel better because of you. And listen, this is not about being fake. This isn't about pretending everything's perfect when it's not. This isn't about toxic positivity or spiritual bypassing or pretending you don't have real struggles and real pain. This is about making a conscious choice about the energy you bring. This is about deciding that even though life is hard, even though you're going through difficult things, even though the world can be a painful place, you're still going to look for the light. You're still going to choose to be a source of warmth and kindness and curiosity. So this is about being someone who adds to the world instead of taking from it. Someone who, despite their own struggles, still manages to be a positive presence in the life of others. Because here's what I've learned. Your pain doesn't have to become everyone else's pain. Your suffering doesn't have to spread like a virus. You can hold your own difficulties with compassion and still show up for others with an open heart. So one of the most important things I've learned, and this changed everything for me, is that one of your main priorities when you're interacting with others should be to help them feel safe. Safe to be themselves. Safe to share what's really going on. Safe to be imperfect. Safe to be vulnerable. Safe to be seen exactly as they are without judgment. Because here's what happens when people feel safe with you. They open up. They soften. They connect. They trust you. They let you in. They show you who they really are underneath all the armor and the masks. And when you make people feel safe, when you make them feel seen and heard and valued, people will like you. Not because you're manipulating them, but because you're giving them something rare and precious in this world. A place where they can breathe. A place where they don't have to perform or pretend. A place where they can just be. So how do you make people feel safe? You listen. You really listen. Not the kind of listening where you're just waiting for your next turn to talk or thinking about what you're going to say next, but the kind where you are genuinely curious about what the other person's saying, where you're really trying to understand their experience, their perspective, their world. So you ask questions. You show genuine interest in their lives, their thoughts, their experiences. So you make them feel like what they have to say matters, because it does matter. Every person's experience matters. You don't judge. You create space for them to be human, to be messy, to be imperfect, to not have it all figured out. And you let them know through your presence that it's okay to be exactly where they are. So be kind, be warm, bring that light we talked about. Approach someone with curiosity rather than criticism, with compassion rather than judgment. Help people feel loved. And I don't necessarily mean romantic love, but you can have that too. But I mean that fundamental feeling of being valued, of mattering, of being worthy of care and attention just because you exist. So when you show up in this way, when you're genuinely curious about other people, when you help them feel safe and loved and seen, something magical happens. Real connection happens. Deep, meaningful, soul-nourishing connection. And this is how you find your people. Not by trying to be everything to everyone, but by being genuinely present and curious and kind with everyone you meet. By bringing light, by helping people feel safe, by showing them that they matter. Your people will recognize their energy. They'll be drawn to it like a moth to a flame. They'll think, finally, someone who sees me, someone I can be real with. Now here's where it gets really interesting, and this is where a lot of people get confused, because sometimes, even when you're bringing light, even when you're being kind and curious and helping people feel safe, sometimes you're still going to upset people. And this is where boundaries come in. So let me give you an example. Let's say someone wants to hang out with you, but you just don't feel like it. You're tired. Maybe you need time alone. Maybe you need to recharge your batteries. Maybe you need some space to just be with yourself. So you say, no. This might upset the other person. They might feel rejected. They might be frustrated. They might even complain about you to another friend. Can you believe she said no? What's her problem? Does that make you a bad person? Absolutely not. Even though in that moment they may not like you, even though they may be upset with you, you made that decision with respect to yourself. So your intention was to honor your own energy, to take care of yourself, to meet your own needs. And that's not just okay, that is a beautiful thing. That is how you should be treating yourself, with that same kindness and care that you would offer to someone you love. So this is what I mean when I say you can be kind and honorable, and you can still upset people. Because standing in your sovereignty, standing in your truth, asserting a boundary, these things will sometimes upset people, and that's okay. That doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It doesn't mean you need to change. So there's going to be a lot of people you might upset as you go along your day, simply as a result of being true to yourself, by honoring your needs, by respecting your own energy. And that's not a reflection of you or your worth or your value. We need boundaries. Boundaries are essential. Boundaries are how we take care of ourselves. Boundaries are how we preserve our energy so we can show up and bring light to the world. Boundaries are how we stay in integrity with ourselves. Because if you say yes to everything and everyone, and people are taking from you constantly, if you never honor your own needs, you're going to burn out. You're going to become depleted. You're going to become resentful. And eventually you're going to become that person who brings the energy down because you've given everything away and you've got nothing left. So you can't pour from an empty cup. You can't bring light into the world if your own light has gone out. So yes, bring the light. Be curious about other people. Help people feel safe and loved. And honor your boundaries. Take care of yourself. Know when to say no. Know when to step back. Know when to protect your energy. So these things aren't in conflict. They work together. In fact, they need each other. You can only truly show up for others when you're also showing up for yourself. So here's what I want you to really understand, and this is at the heart of everything. You can't control whether someone likes you or not. You just can't. I can't control whether someone likes me. I can't control if people want to dislike me. That's not up to me. That's completely outside of my control. I could try to manipulate them into liking me. I could try to tell stories and shed a certain light on myself and present a version of me that I think they'll approve of. I could literally twist myself into whatever shape I think they want. But ultimately, they have the final say in how they feel about me. And here's the thing. Their opinion is really none of my business. It's about them. It's about their filters, their experiences, their projections, their pain, their joy, their journey. So at the end of the day, if someone dislikes me, what am I going to say to myself? Am I going to say, yeah, they're totally right. I'm awful. I'm not enough. I should go live under a rock somewhere and never show my face again. Or am I going to say, it's okay. I see that, this is someone else's perspective, and that's okay. That's a totally normal human response, and it makes sense that I feel that way. And I am kind to myself. I stay with myself. I love myself. I don't need to change anything about who I am because I'm worthy exactly as I am. This is the practice. This is the work. Learning to hold yourself with compassion regardless of what other people think of you. Learning to be your own friend, your own ally, your own source of unconditional love. Because this is where true liberation comes from. From within. Not from getting everyone to like you. Not from achieving some perfect version of yourself that nobody could possibly criticize. But from learning to love and accept yourself even when others don't. This is freedom, real freedom, and that's what I want you to understand. I hope this has been helpful. I hope that you can get down with the fact that not everyone's going to like you. Don't forget, go and do the happiness quiz. I'd love to see you in there. As always, be kind, take care, go gently in the world.